Home Studio Start podcast.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we unpack compelling info to give you those essential nuggets of knowledge. Today, we're diving into something really exciting for anyone into music production.
Yeah, especially if you've maybe felt held back by, budget constraints.
Exactly. We're talking professional results without spending a fortune.
Yeah.
So let's dig in.
Yeah, definitely. And our guide today is this great blog post from Home Studio Start. It's called Top 10 Free Audio Plugins That Are Actually Worth Downloading.
Right. Authored by Rodrigo Marquez.
That's the one. And his whole philosophy, home recording made easy, it really sums it up. Good quality audio. It's not just for the big studios anymore.
Totally accessible.
Genuinely.
And that's what we love. So our mission today, pull out the best bits from Rodrigo's list.
The real gems.
Yeah, show you how you can seriously level up your production, get like a wider range of sound.
And save time. And hard drive space, crucially.
Oh, definitely. Knowing which free tools are actually worth grabbing. Cut through the noise.
Find the good stuff.
Okay, so first up, mixing. This is where, all the individual tracks come together.
Making it cohesive.
Right. And finding free plugins that really work for mixing, well, can feel like hunting for treasure sometimes, can it?
Oh, absolutely. But Rodrigo's done a lot of the legwork here.
Yeah, he pinpoints some essentials.
And what's cool here is how these specific tools, these free tools, can tackle really common sound problems.
Turning rough tracks into something polished.
Exactly. It's about being strategic, not just throwing effects on randomly.
Okay, so first one Rodrigo highlights, TDR Nova. Now, he calls it a parallel dynamic EQ. For listeners maybe newer to this, what's the big deal? What makes it different?
Well, the dynamic part is key. It's like an EQ that only kicks in when a certain frequency gets too loud or too quiet.
Ah, okay. Smart EQ.
Pretty much.
Right.
So you can, say, tame harshness in a vocal around 2 kilohertz, but only when it actually gets harsh. It doesn't just dull the whole thing.
Subtle.
Very subtle. Or you could boost the low-end punch on a kick drum, but again, only when the kick hits. So it adds weight without making everything muddy.
That sounds incredibly useful. Okay, then for compression, another one from Tokyo Dawn Records, Kotelnikov.
Yeah, another TDR gem.
He calls it mastering grade, but says it's great on individual tracks and buses. What are buses again, quickly?
Right, buses. We think of them like group channels. You might send all your drum tracks to a drum bus or all your background vocals to a vocal bus.
Gotcha. So you process the group.
Exactly. And Kotelnikov is apparently really good for that. Like, Rodrigo suggests trying it on a bass guitar to kind of even out the loud and quiet notes, add a bit of sustain, make it sit nicely in the mix.
Without squashing the life out of it.
Precisely. It's known for being quite transparent.
Cool. Okay, next. Reverb. Everyone needs reverb. And he shouts out Valhalla Supermassive.
Oh, yeah. That one gets a lot of love. And for good reason.
Lush and expansive spaces.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
It's amazing for creating atmosphere, adding depth, big ambient textures.
Nice. And he also mentions tail reverb 4 and tail delay.
Yeah, calls them classics. Just solid, reliable reverb and delay. Dependable workhorses.
Good to have options.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try putting these together. Rodrigo gives this example, right? A fictional band, the Algorithm Blues. Their singers' vocals are kind of thin, need more presence, more depth. How would you use these tools?
Okay, so following Rodrigo's advice, you probably start with TDR Nova.
Right.
Maybe a little boost around 3 kilohertz, like he suggests, just to bring out some clarity, some presence.
Okay.
Then you might use Kotelnikov very gently, just to smooth out the dynamics a bit.
So the vocal sits consistently.
Exactly. Not jumping out, not getting lost, just evening it out slightly.
And then the space?
And then a touch of Valhalla Supermassive adds that sense of space, makes it feel like it belongs in the track, not just stuck on top.
See, that makes sense. It's the combination.
Totally. That's the key takeaway here, I think, how these tools work together. It raises that question, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How can you layer these free tools creatively to solve maybe more complex mixing problems?
Yeah.
Experimentation is definitely your friend.
All right. Mixing done. Individual tracks are sounding good together, but then there's mastering.
The final polish.
Yeah. Making the whole thing sound, finished, ready for release. And Rodrigo says, mastering on a budget.
No problem.
Haha, yeah. Absolutely possible.
And it's important to remember, mastering is different from mixing, right?
How so? Exactly.
Well, mixing is about balancing the inside of the song, the individual parts. Mastering looks at the whole thing,
The bigger picture.
Exactly. Gluing the mix together, making sure it translates well on different speakers, phones, whatever.
And getting that commercial loudness.
Right. Making it competitive without sounding, crushed.
Okay, so which free tools help here? Interestingly, TDR Nova comes back.
Yep, that dynamic EQ again, but used differently. In mastering, you're making really broad, subtle changes across the entire mix, not fixing one instrument.
Ah, okay. Like what?
Like Rodrigo suggests maybe a wide, gentle cut around 6 kilohertz if the whole mix feels a bit harsh.
Right.
Or maybe a tiny, broad boost around 400 hertz to add a touch of overall warmth. Very subtle stuff.
Got it. And Kotelnikov is back too, the compressor.
Yep, the mastering grade beast, as he calls it, for cohesion.
Wow. Okay, so it really can handle mastering duties.
Apparently so, but the advice is crucial here. Use it sparingly.
Light touch.
Super light touch. Low threshold, very gentle ratio, like 1.5, 0.1 maybe. Just kissing the mix.
To glue it together without flattening it.
Exactly. Avoid that overcompressed sound at all costs. It's about enhancing cohesion, not squashing dynamics.
Okay. And then for loudness, limiter 6.
Yeah, that's the one for getting your track up to those competitive levels.
Without distortion, hopefully.
That's the goal. Rodrigo suggests aiming for maybe 1 dB of gain reduction on the very loudest peaks.
Just tickling the limiter.
Pretty much. Pushes the overall level up, but keeps those peaks from clipping. Makes it ready for Spotify, Apple Music, etc.
Okay, let's use Rodrigo's other example. Electronic artist. Synthwave Sunset.
Catchy name.
Right. Mix sounds good, but needs that final pro touch. How do these plugins help?
So you'd maybe start with TDR Nova for that overall frequency balance check. Tiny tweaks.
Okay.
Then Kotelnikov comes in just gently to add that bit of glue, make everything feel connected.
Cohesive.
Right. And finally, limiter 06 to bring up the level responsibly. Get it loud, but keep it clean.
Makes sense.
And honestly, the big philosophy in mastering, especially with free tools, less is more.
Definitely.
Listen really carefully. Every little change matters.
Okay, we've covered the essentials. Mixing, mastering,
Yeah.
pretty serious stuff. But what about just getting weird?
Yeah. Adding unique character, unexpected textures.
Exactly. Looking for free audio plugins that are worth it to really spice things up. Rodrigo says forget the usual suspects sometimes.
Yeah, this section is all about pushing boundaries, sparking creativity.
These aren't just utilities, they're like idea generators.
Totally. Tools designed to make you think differently about sound.
Okay, first one sounds fun. Glitch Machines Hysteresis.
Just the name, right?
Yeah. He calls it a wild delay plugin. Good for robotic stutters and rhythmic mayhem.
It sounds intense. Rodrigo advises using it sparingly, though.
Right, maybe not on everything.
Yeah, like on drums or maybe a synth line, just for little hits of unexpected texture. He even suggests automating parameters like feedback and delay time.
For truly chaotic results. I like the sound of that.
Controlled chaos, finding those happy accidents.
Okay, then there's Auburn Sounds Couture Free, a unique transient shaper. Okay, what's a transient again?
So the transient is like the very first hit of a sound, the attack.
Like the click of a kick drum or the pick hitting a guitar string?
Exactly, that initial punch. And this plugin lets you shape that.
How? Like make it punchier or softer?
Both. You can use it to make drum loops hit way harder, really emphasize the attack so they cut through.
Okay.
Or you could do the opposite. Smooth out harsh sounds, like maybe tame sibilants, those sharp S sounds on a vocal.
Ah, that's clever. Very versatile.
Incredibly versatile for shaping the energy of a sound.
And finally, he mentions a whole bundle. Melda Production M-Free FX Bundle.
Yeah, this isn't just one plugin. It's like a whole collection. A treasure trove, he calls it.
What's in there?
All sorts. Filters, distortion, phasers, flangers, and some more unusual stuff like ring modulators.
Ring modulators. Those make things sound kind of metallic and weird, right?
Yeah, often really bizarre alien-like sounds. Great for sound design. The whole bundle is just fantastic for experimenting.
Create unique soundscapes, Rodrigo says.
Exactly. Just load them up and see what happens. Twist some knobs.
Okay, scenario time again. Experimental artist. Sonic alchemist.
Love it.
Need some unexpected twists in their track. How could these fit?
All right, you could maybe slap hysteresis on the snare drum for some glitchy, stuttering effects. Make the rhythm really interesting.
Okay, grab the listener's ear.
Yeah. Then maybe use Couture Free on a soft synth pad, but crank the attack. Turn it into something almost percussive.
Oh, cool idea. Changing its character.
Totally. And then, for pure weirdness, take a vocal sample and run it through a ring modulator from the M-Free FX bundle.
Get that alien sound.
Exactly. Bizarre, unexpected transformation. The real takeaway here, experiment.
Don't be afraid.
Push these things. See what weird sounds you can discover. That's half the fun.
Okay, effects and processing are covered. But what about actually making the sounds in the first place? Synths? Instruments?
Yeah, building up that virtual instrument library. Can you do that without spending money?
Rodrigo says, absolutely.
Which is great news, because these aren't just free tools. They're like springboards for writing music.
Yeah, you can build whole tracks just with these.
Totally. Opens up huge possibilities for composing, sound design, everything, even if you don't play an instrument.
So what does he recommend? First up, Vital. The basic version is free.
And it's a powerhouse. Seriously capable synth. Subtractive synthesis.
Plus, he says it's visually stunning, which helps.
It does. Makes sound design more intuitive, maybe more fun, and it can do so much. Lush pads, aggressive basses, screaming leads.
Like what kind of sounds specifically?
Well, Rodrigo suggests you could easily make like a classic detuned super saw lead, for synthwave or trance.
Okay.
Or a really deep, rumbling sub bass to anchor your track. It's super flexible.
Nice. What about more realistic sounds, acoustic stuff?
For that, he points to Spitfire Audio Labs.
Oh, I've heard of Labs. They release new free instruments pretty often, right?
Constantly. And the quality is genuinely amazing for free stuff. They're sampled instruments.
What are some good examples?
He mentions the soft piano, which is beautiful, really intimate, great for ballads or film scores.
Yeah.
And things like scary strings for adding that cinematic tension. They capture real character.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Any other instruments?
Yeah, one more niche one. Dirty 909 OSD VST for a classic organ sound.
Like a Hammond B3 kind of vibe.
Exactly. He says it's got that Hammond style, but with a kind of gritty vintage feel. Good for warmth, soul, rock.
Cool. Okay, last scenario from Rodrigo, scoring an indie film, Neon Dreams.
Okay, moody.
Yeah, it needs a melancholic, atmospheric soundtrack. How do these instruments create that?
Well, you probably start with the LEBS soft piano, lay down that emotional core, gentle, reflective.
It's got the mood.
Definitely. Then maybe bring in Vital to create some evolving pads underneath.
How would you make them evolve?
You could slowly automate the filter cutoff, maybe add some modulation to the pitch or something, creates movement, depth, fills things out.
Nice.
And then for a bit of texture, maybe a low, warm drone using the OSD VST organ, just sitting in the background, adding this kind of timeless vintage feel.
Wow, yeah. You can really paint a picture with just those three.
Exactly. It shows how even just a few carefully chosen free instruments give you this really diverse palette. You can absolutely make professional sounding, evocative music. Hashtag #outro.
Wow. Okay, that was quite a journey through Rodrigo Marquez's picks for the best free plugins.
Yeah, from home studio start. Really great insights.
Seriously, we went from mixing with TDR Nova and Kotelnikov
Sculpting the sound.
to mastering, getting that final polish.
And getting creative with stuff like hysteresis.
Rhythmic mayhem.
Yeah. And even building full compositions with Vital and Lebes.
It really shows the world of free plugins is just, it's bursting with potential, isn't it?
Absolutely. It completely proves Rodrigo's point. You don't need to break the bank.
Right.
Professional results are achievable. His whole home recording made easy thing, it's real. He's empowering people.
Definitely empowering aspiring artists.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the final thought to leave you with. What does all this mean for your music, for your creative process? How could you maybe combine these free tools in ways we haven't even talked about?
Yeah. In unexpected ways.
To unlock a sound you never even imagined you could get without spending a single dime.
That's the exciting part, isn't it? The possibilities.
It really is.
So yeah, dive in, experiment, go find some sonic magic for yourself. It's out there.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of free audio plugins. We hope you feel inspired.
Go make some noise.
We'll catch you on the next one.